Hello, everyone! Welcome back to our channel, where we take powerful books and life-changing concepts and break them down into actionable steps. Today, we're diving into Atomic Habits by James Clear, a book that's all about making small, incremental changes to transform your life in a big way. Now, if you've ever tried to start a new habit, whether it's exercising, eating healthier, or being more productive, you know how challenging it can be. The same goes for breaking bad habits, like reducing screen time or procrastinating. Clear's main idea is that small, consistent changes, what he calls atomic habits, lead to significant results over time. Imagine trying to climb a mountain by leaping from the bottom to the top. It's impossible. But taking small, steady steps allows you to gradually make your way up, building momentum as you go. Atomic Habits shows us how to start with these small steps to reach big goals. This isn't just about creating habits. It's about designing a life where good habits come naturally and bad habits fade away. Whether you want to be more productive, improve your health, or build a new skill, Clear provides a roadmap for achieving these goals step by step. If you're ready to make small changes that lead to big transformations, stick around. We're diving into Atomic Habits to learn how to build the life you want, one small action at a time. One of the most powerful ideas in Atomic Habits is the concept of 1% improvements. Clear explains that if you can get just 1% better each day, these tiny gains compound into remarkable changes over time. Think of it like growing a savings account. Each small deposit may seem insignificant, but with time, your balance grows substantially, thanks to the magic of compound interest. Clear gives a simple but impactful example. Imagine if you improved by just 1% every day for a year. By the end of that year, you would be 37 times better than when you started. On the other hand, getting 1% worse each day would make you practically disappear by the end of the year. This shows how small, consistent actions, good or bad, accumulate to create powerful results over time. It's these invisible building blocks that form the foundation for long-term success or failure. Let's look at a practical example. Imagine you're trying to improve your fitness, but the thought of running a marathon feels overwhelming. Clear's advice is to start small. Begin with a 5-minute walk. Then gradually increase it to 10, then 15. Before long, you'll build the stamina and mental resilience needed for longer workouts, all without overwhelming yourself. This idea of small improvements applies to skill building too. Say you want to learn to play the guitar. Practicing for an hour a day from the get-go might lead to burnout. But if you start with 5 or 10 minutes, those minutes accumulate, and your skills grow without the frustration. Over time, you'll find yourself playing more complex songs with ease because those small improvements compound, turning you into a better guitarist. The lesson here is that small, consistent actions are more sustainable than extreme, one-time efforts. Clear's point is that aiming for instant results is often unsustainable, but by focusing on small, manageable actions, we create habits that last. These small wins build momentum and motivate us to keep going. Clear introduces the 4 laws of behavior change as the blueprint for building good habits and breaking bad ones. Think of these laws as tools. They help you structure your habits so they're easier to maintain and more effective. The 4 laws are cue, craving, response, and reward, and they form the foundation of every habit. Let's dive into each one. Cue. The first law is cue. A cue is like a prompt that tells your brain to start a habit. It's the trigger that sets off the habit loop. If you want to start a habit of flossing, placing the floss next to your toothbrush can act as a cue. Every time you brush, you'll see the floss, which acts as a reminder. A strong cue makes your habit obvious. It's like a nudge from your environment reminding you to act. Cues can take many forms. They could be a time of day, a specific place, or even an emotional state. If you want to read more, place a book by your bedside table so that every night before bed, you're reminded to read. This makes the habit easy to remember and hard to ignore. Craving. The second law is craving. A craving is the motivation behind the habit. It's what drives you to want to do it. Without a craving, there's no real desire to act. If you're trying to make exercise a habit, make it something you enjoy, like playing a sport or dancing. This craving for enjoyment or stress relief makes you look forward to the activity, making it more likely that you'll stick with it. To create a strong craving, link your habit to something you already enjoy. For example, if you love listening to music, pair it with your new habit. Play your favorite songs while cooking to make meal prep enjoyable, or listen to audiobooks while exercising. This craving creates positive reinforcement, turning the habit into a rewarding experience. Response. The third law is response, which is the actual habit itself, the action you take. Clear emphasizes making good habits as easy as possible. If you want to eat healthier, place fresh fruits and veggies in easy-to-reach places, like your kitchen counter or fridge door. This makes it easier to grab a healthy snack rather than digging through the cupboard for chips. The simpler the response, the more likely you are to perform it. Small adjustments make a big difference. If you want to start a journaling habit, leave your journal and pen open on your desk. By removing obstacles, you make the habit easy, reducing friction and increasing the chances you'll follow through. Reward. The fourth law is reward, the final piece of the habit loop. A reward reinforces the behavior and makes you want to repeat it. Rewards can be immediate, like the satisfaction of a clean desk, or long-term, like seeing physical results from regular exercise. The reward signals your brain, "This feels good, let's do it again." In summary, if you want to build a habit, make it obvious, cue, make it attractive, craving, make it easy, response, and make it satisfying, reward. To break a habit, reverse each step. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. This way, the cues and cravings that drive bad habits weaken over time, making them easier to phase out. One of the most powerful concepts in Atomic Habits is the idea of identity-based habits. Instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, Clear suggests focusing on who you want to become. Rather than setting a goal to read more, shift your mindset to become a reader. This makes habits more about aligning with your values than simply achieving a goal. Clear argues that when you build habits around your identity, they feel more natural. Instead of forcing yourself to read because it's a goal, you read because it aligns with your identity as a reader. Every time you read a page, you reinforce this identity, casting a vote for the kind of person you want to be. This concept applies to many areas of life. If you want to be healthier, think of yourself as someone who prioritizes health. Every time you choose a healthy meal or go for a walk, you reinforce that identity. This subtle shift makes good habits easier to stick with because they're part of who you are, not just something you're trying to achieve. Clear also introduces a technique called habit stacking, which is about linking a new habit to an existing one. By stacking a new habit onto a routine you already have, you're less likely to forget it. For example, if you want to meditate daily, you could stack it onto brushing your teeth in the morning. First you brush, then you meditate. It becomes part of the routine. Clear suggests using "when I do" existing habit, then I will new habit or statements. For instance, when I make my morning coffee, I'll read one page of a book. This formula makes it easy to remember because you're attaching the new habit to something familiar. With time, these small additions build up to create a seamless daily routine. Think of habit stacking like adding layers to a cake. Each layer builds on the previous one, creating a strong, cohesive structure. By stacking habits, you're not overhauling your routine. You're enhancing it, making the new habits feel natural and almost automatic. Environment design is another key concept in Atomic Habits. Clear argues that our surroundings shape our behavior. If you want to limit screen time, keep your phone out of reach while you work. If you want to eat healthier, place fruits and veggies in a visible spot. When the environment nudges you toward positive actions, you're more likely to make good choices. Our environment is like a stage for our habits. It can either encourage or hinder our actions. Imagine if your workspace is cluttered with distractions versus a neat, organized space with only essentials. The organized environment subtly encourages productivity, reducing the friction that could otherwise lead to procrastination. Clear's advice is to make your environment work for you, not against you. If you want to read more, put books in places where you often relax, like the living room. With a carefully designed environment, good habits feel like a natural part of your day. Finally, let's talk about tracking progress and accountability. Tracking your habits can motivate you to keep going. Every time you complete a habit, mark it on a calendar or use an app. Seeing a streak of completed habits builds momentum, making you less likely to break the chain. For added accountability, find a friend with similar goals and check in regularly. This social accountability boosts motivation and makes it harder to skip out on your habit. It's like having a workout buddy. You're more likely to show up because someone else is counting on you. In Atomic Habits, James Clear shows us that small changes can create lasting transformations. Remember the 4 laws of behavior change: cue, craving, response, and reward, and focus on becoming the person you want to be. Each small step, each tiny improvement, builds toward a better version of yourself. With these strategies, you're not just building habits, you're designing a lifestyle. Small, steady actions add up, creating a life filled with positive habits. So, start small, be consistent, and watch how these atomic habits transform your life. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more self-improvement content. Keep building those small steps that lead to big changes.